Thank you very much. Thank you, Council President Brooks. You know, tonight, he will hand over the President's chair of City Council after 2 years as a leader of City Council. But today I want to acknowledge the fact that, Councilman Brooks, you and your family have gone through a lot. The way you have battled and beat cancer twice is nothing short of an inspiration to all of us. His family, his mom, I see Debbie and his lovely mom are here, and lovely children. Thank you as well for giving us Councilman Brooks and going through this storm with him. Good morning. You all look good. Thank you for being. What'd you think of Raquel Garcia? My. You know, I always watch Mary Louise when young people are singing, and when she does this, you know you're doing something. Girl, you knocked that out the park. We're going to hear about her again. Y'all remember that name. Practice it over and over in your head, Raquel Garcia. I want to thank all of you for being here. I want to thank the members of City Council, Clerk and Recorder Johnson, Auditor O'Brien, Presiding Judge Spahn, and District Attorney McCann. Our former mayor and former First Lady, Wellington and Wilma Webb, are here as well, as they always are. Thank you so much for your support and partnership. Our great governor, the John Hickenlooper, is also here. As he enters the home stretch, let's thank him for his dedicated service to Denver and Colorado. Godspeed, Governor. We wish you luck on whatever is next. We also have elected leaders from our state legislature who are here as well. We want to thank all of our state elected leaders, our lieutenant governors here. And of course, we have regional leaders from all over the region here. Even our mayor from Colorado Springs, Mayor John Southers, made it. I'm going to ask all of our regionally elected leaders to stand up. Mayors from all over, county commissioners, thank you all very much for being here. Sadly, one is missing. My friend, your friend, the late, great Mayor of Aurora, Steve Hogan. He is deeply missed, but his legacy and service and regionalism will endure forever. Let's give Steve Hogan a round of applause and abstention. My family is also with us today. You know, there is only one Hancock who has sought public service and the scrutiny that comes with it. My family has borne the brunt of that decision, especially over the last 6 months. Mary Louise and Janae, Jordan, Mama, James, my family. I love you all very much. Thank you for being my rock. I can never do that without getting emotional, you know? And maybe because I'm getting older, I'll be 49 at the end of this month. I know, I can't believe that either. You're like, what? I find myself being more emotional these days, and I often find myself reflecting on this enormous privilege you have given me to be your mayor these past 7 years, during these amazing moments in time and history. If you had told that little boy in 5 Points that he would be mayor of Denver one day, during an unprecedented expansion of opportunities and challenges, I would have thought you lost your marbles. But we're here. By the grace of God, we are here. My family and I are grateful for the support, love, and kindness shown to us by our Denver family. And that family includes 12,000 city employees. Thanks to them, and our peak performance program, your city government is now globally recognized for innovation and efficiency, and they've saved taxpayers nearly $30 million since 2011. And of course, my cabinet and appointees, I am honored to work with you every day. I want you to know that. And to witness your awesome dedication to our great city. Now, I want you to know that when the deputy mayor was introduced, that loud roar you heard came from all the appointees and cabinet members. And I looked at him, I said, what's going on? He says, I'm CFO as well. Please join me in honoring all our city employees for their tremendous dedication. Speaking of employees who give their all, thank you to the staff here at Carla Madison Rec Center for hosting us. Carla would have been so proud of this place. She would have just loved this rec center. This is Denver's newest rec center, and it was designed by neighbors for neighbors. And by the way, it was built without debt. They wanted it here, connected to the historic infrastructure of Denver, the Esplanade leading to City Park, a legacy of Denver City Beautiful movement led by Mayor Robert Spear. This is an awesome place. You know, 100 years ago, in a moment not unlike today, Denver had to decide how it would manage record growth. Will we become a city for people or factories? Mayor Spear and the people of Denver chose a bold path to build City Park, Civic Center, and new auditoriums to improve streets and lighting, create better stormwater systems, and so much more. Of course, there were skeptics, but the people of Denver chose to grow their way. We did it again a generation ago when the decision was made to build Denver National Airport. I remember the Rocky Mountain News predicted it would be Federico Peña's Waterloo. The wisdom of building our airport may seem obvious today, but it was a close call. Mayor Peña and the people embraced the moment, and now our airport is Colorado's #1 economic engine. Whether it's spurring a movement or moving an airport, every one of these decisions has been about improving and strengthening and add to what we love without losing our sense of community. Mayor Spear, a third-term mayor, by the way, took I'm letting some of y'all catch up. Took the City Beautiful movement and transformed Denver for generations. Denver, we are at another transformational moment in our history. Denver is on the rise. Oftentimes, a city's progress is measured by the tangible, by what was built, roads, parks, monuments. But I believe our progress must be measured by the intangibles. What changes lives, builds up people, social justice, access to opportunity, and promoting equity in our communities, particularly in times of prosperity. That is the full measure of a city on the rise. That has been my administration's mission over the last 7 years. When I first took office, we were in the grips of the Great Recession and faced double-digit unemployment. But together, we, the people of Denver, got this city moving again. 90,000 new jobs, 6,600 new businesses, 2.4% unemployment, and one of the strongest local economies in the nation. 5,000 affordable homes for families citywide, $1 billion of annual economic benefit from 41 new U.S. and international flights. More small businesses are succeeding and growing. More Denver kids have quality after-school programs and early childhood education. All of them have free access to rec centers like this one, and so do our seniors. More police officers and firefighters keeping our neighborhoods safe. Today, 7 years later, you have more protected parkland, nearly 1,000 acres, playgrounds and outdoor recreation in more neighborhoods, longer library hours and more streets repaved. We have eliminated our city's structural budget deficit while also growing our savings. Whew. Denver, we can be proud of these accomplishments. We've made tough decisions, and we made them together, all of us. But the work isn't done. Cities change. Denver is transforming. And this growth is putting serious pressure on our people. Traffic, housing, cost increases. I feel it too. Our clarion call is to seize this moment and set Denver's people and neighborhoods on an equitable path of prosperity for the next 100 years. We need to make sure people can afford to live here. We need to protect what we love about our neighborhoods. This is how Denver will continue to rise together. The state of our city is the state of each of us, everyone living and working in every part of our city, from Sunnyside to Hamden, the airport to Bear Valley. You know, walking down the 16th Street Mall one day, I was stopped by a young man, and we got to talking about all that was happening in Denver and the success that Denver is experiencing. And he looked at me with all the passion and seriousness in his eyes, and he said, "What about the people who are working hard but are falling behind? What about us?" You know, I saw myself in that young man. I saw my brothers and sisters and nieces and nephews and the neighborhoods where we grew up. Reflecting on that moment, I recall the words of the great civil rights leader Benjamin Mays. You know, it isn't a calamity to die with dreams unfulfilled, but it is a calamity not to dream. It is not a disgrace not to reach the stars, but it is a disgrace to have no stars to reach for. I know the pain of feeling left behind, of feeling hopeless. I don't want that for any of our people, but I know some of you feel it, and you deserve a city that is working on your behalf every day. Every person in Denver is important. I want to make that clear. How we succeed as a city depends on whether everyone's streets are safe and maintained, and that everyone has access to good jobs, decent and affordable housing, modern transportation, and good parks and good schools. Denver succeeds because our people drive that success. It's the success and vision of our people that spurred Denver to rise in the ranks of global cities, all while embracing diversity, nourishing freedom of expression, and yes, welcoming immigrants. Global cities are certainly about expanding economic opportunity. But in these times, they offer something else. We are beacons of progressive values. We are places where more than one language is welcomed, not feared. These are places where children are schooled, not separated from their parents or put in cages. Denver, we are places where values of inclusion and equity are celebrated. Global cities open doors. We don't build walls. And we've made Denver a great and welcoming place to live. Now, through new challenges, but also new opportunities, we need to make sure our people's place in our city is secure. City Beautiful was about architecture and public spaces. The equity movement we are creating is about neighborhoods and people. Neighborhoods that are accessible, inclusive, and affordable. An economy that extends opportunity to everyone. A city that preserves its history, character, and sense of community, even in the midst of transformative change. This movement's already rolling. With the major infrastructure repairs and improvements the people of Denver supported to benefit our neighbors and our neighborhoods. Rosario and her neighbors wanted a rec center in their neighborhood. We listened, and the Westwood Rec Center will be fully paid for through the Elevate Denver bonds. Irene wanted more and better sidewalks along East Colfax. Viviana wanted us to reconnect Sun Valley by fixing 13th Avenue. Cecilia and her neighbors wanted a pedestrian bridge over the train tracks in Elaria, Swansea to help get their kids to school safely and on time. Done, done, and done. Every single person in this city will benefit from these improvements. Every person. Our libraries are getting an upgrade. Our parks and museums are going to get better. Our streets are going to be safer, and we will have more connected bike and pedestrian networks. Several neighbors are here representing the thousands of residents we heard from and helped us to shape the Elevate Denver bond. I'm going to ask them to please stand. Please stand up. If you wrote into us ideas about the Elevate Denver bonds, please stand up so we can acknowledge your leadership. Thank you so much. This equity movement that we, the people, are creating together will lift up all our neighborhoods. The Denver Right Plan's coming out next month. We're also informed by thousands of Denver residents, and they were very clear about how they want Denver to grow over the next 20 years. We must retain our history and remain healthy, active, sustainable, accessible, and inclusive. Providing that equity for all neighborhoods and all people is how Denver will continue to rise. Affordable housing remains a primary challenge to achieving that equity. We have made great progress helping first-time homebuyers, connecting families with new affordable options, protecting renters from eviction, and easing the tax burden on seniors and those with disabilities. You know, 1/4 of all affordable homes in the city were created with city support over the past 7 years alone. But we must do more. Next month, the city and Denver Housing Authority will ask City Council to double our affordable housing fund to $300 million using marijuana taxes. With a surge of upfront funding through bonding, we'll be able to produce and preserve 6,000 affordable homes for families over the next 5 years. In 2018, we will invest more money in 1 year than ever before to deliver housing Denver families can afford, some $40 million. And working with City Council and the Housing Advisory, we're looking to add new tools to our housing toolbox: land trusts, land banking, accessory dwelling units, a resident preference policy, extending minimal affordability periods, and Councilwoman Kenesha's income non-discrimination proposal, which I think is phenomenal and very powerful. We're also pushing to get more affordable housing from developers. Denver's increased focus on housing has also extended to those experiencing homelessness. We've housed more than 6,300 families and individuals, nearly tripled our annual investment in services and support, and helped open 3 new shelters. We're also expanding 2 of our most successful efforts: our innovative supportive housing program for the chronically homeless, and the Denver Day Works, which provides jobs for the homeless and is driving groups like the Colfax Bid to create similar efforts. Listen to this. When our homeless outreach team met Olivia, she had been homeless for several years. Today, she has a new home at the Sanderson Apartments, which is part of our supportive housing program. She has a new job, is starting to save money, and wants to use her experience to help other women who have faced similar challenges. Olivia is here today. Let's show her some love. Where is Olivia in the room? There she is. Thank you. Councilman Clark, look, Olivia, I understand that despite your 5-foot frame, you're quite the ball on the basketball court. So when this is over, Councilman Jolon Clark wants to challenge you. Want to stand up? He said he'll take you on. Equity and access to opportunity for our people must also extend to our neighborhoods. Norman Harris III grew up in 5 Points, a 5th-generation Denver Right. Norm has worked hard to preserve one of Denver's greatest traditions, the Juneteenth celebration. When he was out, When he was out recently letting neighbors know Welton would be closed for the celebration, he heard something that stopped him in his tracks. A neighbor wanted to know why. They had no idea what Juneteenth was or what it meant to 5 Points, the Harlem of the West that once welcomed the likes of Billie Holiday, Dizzy Gillespie, and Louis Armstrong. I was there when James Brown showed up one night for a concert as a kid. There is a responsibility that comes with change. We should be looking beyond building new things. We should be elevating the people and places that make our neighborhoods so special. These are people and places with history and community. They should be added to, not displaced or replaced. Since I was a child, the Rossonian Hotel has been boarded up there on Welton. And that's why I was overjoyed when I saw what Haroon Cowan had engineered for the rebirth of the historic Rossonian. Haroon is here today. Haroon and his partners are here today, and I want to thank him, publicly thank him and his partners. Matt Burkett, stand up, Matt. Chauncey Billups and Paul Brooks for breathing new life back into this great anchor of 5 Points. I couldn't miss Matt. He's got that fro happening, man, looking good. Many neighborhoods today are facing what 5 Points has faced for decades. We should never stop investing in our neighborhoods or making improvements that raise residents' quality of life. But we should also have strategies to keep families who want to stay in their neighborhoods from being displaced. Long before the flashpoint we saw in November involving Inc. Coffee's reckless advertising, we had directed our economic strategy to address the looming challenges of gentrification. I want to pause there and let you know that that was one of the most stunning, disappointing, and painful moments I've ever experienced in the city, and certainly as mayor. But that is why today we will be taking an even stronger role in connecting people to opportunity, so no one is left behind. We are calling it the Equity Platform. We will be establishing a new neighborhood equity and stabilization team called NEST. The team will deploy resources specifically tailored to neighborhoods that are under threat of gentrification as new public and private investment comes in. They will jump in with residents and local businesses to understand their needs and blunt any threatened loss of culture, character, and community that investment may cause. We already know how this equity-focused approach can change the game. In Westwood, we're seeing significant improvement in the well-being of kids and families thanks to clear investments in high-quality preschool, childcare, healthcare, and economic opportunity. To support the work of the Neighborhood Equity and Stabilization Team, we're going to replicate the Resource Center model already at work at the Valdez Perry Library in Hilaria, Swansea. With these new centers, residents will have easy, direct access to financial coaches, social services, and housing resources right in their own neighborhoods. The National Western Center, Colorado Convention Center, and Elevate Denver bond projects will create thousands of jobs over the next decade. And good jobs that pay good wages are vital to the equity movement. So we will also be ensuring that residents living near these major public construction projects are targeted to fill those new jobs. Today, 357 people have already received the Work Now industry training provided by Colorado Resource Partners. And I was just informed this morning that 200 of them have already secured employment. And I look forward to continuing to work with Council members Kanish and Ortega on this very important and vital effort. We will also strengthen efforts to better prepare our minority and women-owned businesses to take part in the billions of dollars of public investment coming to our city. And we've also been making it very clear that we expect our private sector partners, contractors and developers to do their part as well. Finally, I'm excited to tell you we will be starting a new race and social justice initiative that will prepare city agencies and employees to identify, evaluate, and address the economic and racial impact of new programs, new city programs. We should not be afraid to acknowledge that implicit bias exists and is a part of all of us. But let's also have the courage to face it and do something about it. Yeah. Equity must be a value that applies to everything we do as a city, including mobility. Without safe, reliable, and affordable mobility options, we're all stuck in neutral. An 8 a.m. commute where everyone is driving a car by themselves cannot be Denver's future, even if those cars are self-driving. It's a contradiction in a city on the rise. So I want you to know I hear you, and I agree with you. Our city's future must offer everyone more ways to get around by biking, walking, and taking transit. It's time our streets learn to share. For Randy Kilborn, a 19-year CAP resident, mobility is essential. From his unique perspective, Randy is helping to improve mobility equity and options for everyone. With nearly half of the funding from Elevate Denver bonds going to mobility, we are primed and ready to get moving. We're going to be filling more of our sidewalk gaps and making sure repairs get made. Today, I'm excited to announce that we will be accelerating the build-out of our bike network, adding 125 more miles of bike lanes over the next 5 years. That's right, 1, 2, 5. I want to thank Director of Public Works, Euless Cleckley, who walked in my office and said, "This is going too slow. We got to speed this up." I'm sure everyone else thanks you as well, Euless. It's also time for the next phase of shared mobility. This includes dockless bikes and, hear this, electric scooters. We heard you. Now stop emailing me. And equitably expanding these services into disconnected, lower-income neighborhoods. And if voters this fall approve a statewide transportation measure, and we hope you will, that will give us additional funding to get more aggressive in making major congestion and Vision Zero-focused safety improvements on major corridors like Colfax and Federal. In the words of President Obama, and I'm paraphrasing, don't cheer, vote. While RTD does a good job moving people regionally, there are service gaps within our city that we need to fill on our own. In the next few months, I hope to join with several partners to test a new shuttle service that will better connect downtown with Cap Hill and Cherry Creek. And to our friends at RTD, we urge you to adopt the proposal before you, which would dramatically reduce fares for students and low-income residents and make transit free for all youth under 12. We know we need to pick up the pace, so we're kicking off a new initiative where city crews will be walking neighborhoods with residents and working together to immediately fix what needs fixing. We're ready to get going this very soon in Sun Valley and West Colfax. It could be replacing a stop sign at an intersection, improving a neighborhood bikeway, or addressing potholes and curbs. Small fixes like these can make a difference to a neighborhood. Our commitment to you, Denver, is that our crews will show up ready to walk the walk, talk the talk, and then get to work. Same goes for our commitment to an affordable, reliable, and sustainable energy future. Reducing carbon emissions is a must. Climate change threatens our people directly, putting our health, environment, and economy, our very way of life, at risk. In 2015, we pledged to reduce greenhouse gas emissions in Denver 80% by 2050. Tomorrow, we will become one of just a few American cities with an action plan to get us there. We're going to lead by example, though, by moving our city facilities to 100% renewable electricity by 2025. And here's what you've been waiting for. We will have a community-wide target of 2030. It is time. I know those are bold, aspirational goals. I know cost and technology will determine how we get there, but we must act. And I'm grateful for our partnership with Xcel Energy, the nation's leading utility when it comes to reducing emissions and building a path toward a clean energy future. Just as clean energy and carbon reduction are vital to a sustainable future, so too are parks, trees, and open spaces. You know, Mayor Spears' beautiful City Beautiful movement envisioned Denver as a city within a park, with a drive for greater equity for our people and neighborhoods. That's a legacy we can add to, and together we will. Our goal is for every resident to live within a 10-minute walk of a park. Every resident. Our families deserve nothing less than easily accessible, safe, and fun parks where children of all ages can play together. 8 in 10 Denver residents meet that goal today. That's 80%. With $136 million from Elevate Denver bonds, we will accelerate our work to improve our parks and bring more recreational opportunities to more people and more neighborhoods. I want you to know that right now there is a group of kids in the Cole neighborhood leading the community's reimagination of St. Charles Park. We're proud to be their partners. Recently I met these kids at their first community meeting. Their vision for what their neighborhood park could be was a real inspiration. I love that these young leaders are doing this, and what they are doing is truly inspirational. Their enthusiasm and optimism match this moment in Denver's history. This is how we build stronger neighborhoods together. And I understand those young people from Cole are here today. I want us to give them some love because we need to encourage them to keep going. Are you here? There you are. Wave your hands in the air. There they are. Thank you. We also create stronger neighborhoods when our neighbors trust the people serving them. 7 years ago, after a tumultuous decade rocked by high-profile excessive force cases and community outrage, we knew the old way of policing wasn't accessible. Today, our police department and Denver residents are working together like never before to improve community safety, accountability, and dialogue between officers and neighbors. And we have Chief Robert C. White to thank for that. I know it hasn't always been easy, Chief, but you transformed our police department. Thanks to your leadership, we'll have a new use of force policy that emphasizes de-escalation. Officers now wear body cameras, and our department has prioritized listening and engaging with the community. You have helped the department regain the community's trust and confidence. Everyone, please join with me in honoring Chief White and his lovely wife, Valerie, for their service, devotion to our great city. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Chief. You know, this is not on script, but as Chief White prepares to retire after 46 years in uniform, 46 years, we are blessed to have had his service here. And 5 minutes before he and I walked before the cameras, he grabbed my arm and he looked me in the eye and he says, "I know you get just one shot at this." Recognizing I had taken the unprecedented move to call for a chief outside of the department, first time since 1950 that occurred. I want to just say to you publicly, Chief White, there wasn't a moment you let me down. And when you made a mistake, you acknowledged it. But you were bold, you were courageous in your leadership, and we are grateful for your service. You're a great man. I'm going to also ask you to join me in congratulating Denver's 70th Police Chief, our new Police Chief, Paul Smiley Payson. Where are you, Paul? There you are, Chief. I know Chief Smiley Payson will do a tremendous job in carrying on Chief White's legacy, raising that bar and keeping Denver one of the safest big cities in America. Certainly it takes more than a committed chief to get this job done, to keep us safe. It also takes thousands of committed men and women. I want to ask you if you'll join me in thanking all of our first responders, the folks when we pick up 911 are responding there to be with us, to take care of us and our families. Those are our police officers, our sheriff deputies, our firefighters, and our paramedics. We thank you for your service. And our United States military. Keeping us safe also means keeping our safety net strong. Unfortunately, city jails have become some of the largest providers of mental health care and addiction treatment, and officers and deputies are often forced to act as social workers. It shouldn't be like that, but that's the reality all over the country. So we took the initiative to team up our patrol officers with mental health professionals, and to date, those co-responders have connected nearly 1,000 people in crises with treatment, not a ticket or not time in jail. So new way of doing business. Our homeless outreach teams are working every day to connect those experiencing homelessness to services. When the opiate crisis came to our libraries, the library set up peer navigators to help connect people to treatment. And the jails are now staffed 24/7 with mental health professionals. So please join me in recognizing these social workers, these clinicians who've come to the city and say, we are here to serve. Our social workers, I know you're here. Please stand up. Thank you. Thank you. There they are. In the face of this continuing behavioral health crisis, I've directed city agencies to devise a new and comprehensive approach to improving our drug treatment and prevention programs. We need to, because we saw a 15% increase in overdose deaths just last year. Next week, we will release a substance misuse strategic action plan, and this summer, we will begin piloting a 24/7 treatment on demand program with Denver Health. Thank you, Dr. Wittenstein. To help get people access to treatment, housing, and support, we're figuring out how to broaden the reach of peer navigators into homeless shelters, the courts, and other places. Finally, and I want us to hear this very clear because your city is in the mix, we must be clear that this opiate crisis could have been avoided, yet for greed and indifference, I have directed the city attorney's office under the leadership of Kristen Bronson to use every legal tool available in holding opiate manufacturers liable for the social and economic devastation their actions have caused our city and our people. This city's greatest strength is its people, all its people, and their success is what propels not only this equity movement, but our entire city forward. We, the people, that is foundational to who we are as a city and as a democratic, compassionate nation. The right of opportunity, of equity, belongs to us all. We, the people, stand together and still hold true that which is self-evident, that all of us are created equal, because we know that we are the sum of our parts and that everyone matters. We, the people, remember our past, celebrate it, cherish it, and preserve it, because we know that our history defines who we are and strengthens our resolve to achieve more. And we, the people, will continue to strive for the idea that progress and justice are the righteous path to a greater, more inclusive society. Because we know, no matter how hard some try to divide us, even literally trying to divide families, we will remain united. That's what great cities do, and that's certainly what a great nation should do. And I want you to know, and I believe this firmly in my heart, if anyone running for office this November thinks we should be following the White House's example here in Colorado, quite frankly, they don't deserve to lead our great state. We, the people, we will be a city that harnesses inclusion and equity and acceptance for all people, no matter if you're African American, Latino, Asian, Native American, or white, LGBTQ or straight, man or woman, and yes, we will be a city that welcomes immigrants and refugees to our great city who want to work hard, who want a chance at opportunity, who want to pursue the American dream. You have a place in Denver, Colorado. And we will keep working every day to make the state of our city stronger, the state of our people even better. All people, we, the people, all of Denver's people and neighborhoods will rise together. Thank you, God bless you, and God bless the city and county of Denver.